Um, okay. Roll call, Molly Krachowiak,
Here.
Danielle Bailey here. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Second, all in favor, voice vote.
Aye.
All right, first order of business is the update on the communication survey report.
So what he gave us is a very draft. It's a very quick draft because the survey closed on the 23rd. But he wanted to give us some preliminary information. And as you joined us, Molly, you saw that Danielle and I were a little confused about just the numbers and the different groups, because he says there were 396 participants, but then he breaks it down with 21 staff responses and 22 community. So I'm a little confused because there's a lot of other.
Right.
So I don't know if I'm just not reading it right. So that's a question we're going to ask him for sure.
Okay.
But otherwise, just looking at, I just wanted to have a chance to like look at it with you guys. And I felt like there were some really nice positives. And then there were some really interesting, I love the analysis, like that he did that after every question. And like even talked about, here's a real opportunity for growth, or this is something you could really hit. So I feel like that was really helpful. Email, it was like overwhelming that people like email. So that
it was also interesting though, right? The comment that was like getting them every day now, they don't know like how to prioritize or like, is this important? Do I need to read this right now? That kind of thing. So that was an interesting comment.
When you get an email as a parent, does it pop up with the subject or no? Do you know what I'm saying? Or does it just say it's from
it does. Well, that's probably depends on how you have your email settings, I would say. But I can see like the heading usually in the first line. But I get every email like 3 times because I get CC'd on those stuff. And I'm like, oh,
sorry.
No, I don't mind. I'm never going to complain about over communication. I promise you.
But I was curious because I try to put a subject in there, but I don't know if that's how it pops up, so that people would know like, okay, I'm tired of the COVID letters, I'm deleting this, or you know what I mean, or like whatever it is. I don't know how it looks.
Well, that may be a bookmark for a conversation. I've been thinking about this as we get those every day, sort of now that this is our life. this is the new normal, and we have the dashboard. I want that maybe a point of conversation. Do you need to keep sending those every day?
So I had the same wondering, and it was interesting because the admin team was kind of like, nope, they're used to it. Just keep doing it. It's what they're used to. And then I did have a family because there was a little stretch right when we got back from break where I didn't do letters. And I had a couple people go, where are the letters? We're not getting the letters.
Okay.
Well, I was like, because I'm catching, I said, and I was like, I'm honestly catching up because we had so many people report that Monday. I was like, I'm honestly just catching up, but I will make sure I do it next week.
Well, then I guess there's your answer. If it's easy enough for now. Again, I mean, we do have the information on the dashboard, but that's once a week. So
And I've been updating the dashboard actually daily because Kim took some of the work off my shoulders because I was counting every day. And now she sends me an email at like 3 and tells me the total. So I just have to copy the letter, fill it in, and then I update the dashboard. The other thing too, is I stopped putting the quarantine numbers in there because that was getting really hard to figure out. So the way it is now, it's easy to just say.
Oh, that's good. Okay. There was a couple, I mean, the summaries were good. Will we get a chance to debrief with the Donovan group?
Yeah, he was going to try. It was really kind of sweet. I said, can you make it tonight? And he was like, well, we're driving to Florida. I'll probably be in Atlanta. I could try to log on. I'm like, we'll just get you next time. We'll just get you next time. So yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
Especially the driving through Atlanta part. That's a disaster any time of day.
He's definitely happy to attend.
Yeah, I mean, I guess what I said to Allison before he came on was like, I have questions now kind of about what we don't know and who didn't take the survey. I mean, obviously, one of the summaries was surveys ranked in the top, way that people want to give input, but those are the people taking a survey.
Right.
So it's like,
I like this
a little bit. Yeah, I like this, right? So, okay, but if there were, like we said, almost 400 responses, 40 of that community and staff allegedly, or according to Donovan, then 350 family members filled this out, which leaves us with 300, 400, 500 possible family members who didn't fill it out.
Right.
So are they so like disheartened by our communication? They're like, I'm not even going to give you my input. Or are they just not engaged? Or are they busy? Or did we miss them somehow? Like, I guess I'll be curious to see the group's take on the folks
Like
who
why
didn't
they didn't.
participate.
Right.
Yeah, and what we don't
There
know.
were a ton that started it too and never finished.
Sure.
Like it was interesting. He was like, we had X amount and it was a lot that started it and finished. So that was interesting too.
Yeah, but 20 staff of like over 100 to me, I'm like, I don't know, that's a little.
And I don't think that
disconcerting.
sounds right. Like, I think that maybe he mixed up how he was.
So we should confirm that, because I guess in general, I'm not sure that the survey got a lot of internal communications with staff. So whether there was a bulk.
Yeah, I sent it out a couple times.
Oh yeah, you sent it out. Yeah. So again, that's just sort of one of the things. One of the like statements that jumped out to me though, that like maybe less even has to do with communication in the summary that I like wrote down was like, a majority of people said, it was something about, would you recommend Glendale-River Hills, right? And a majority of people said Glendale-River Hills is a good to great district. And I was like, ouch a little bit. Like good to great, like ouch. I don't know. It was just like, I want that to be a majority of people said it's a great district, right? And so that was sort of where I was like.
And you know what, it's funny, I took it a different way because there's a book called Good to Great. And it's a leadership book, and it's all about like leveraging all these really positive things to take you to the next level. So like I looked at it through that lens. I was like, oh my God, they think we have this all this potential. Like this is awesome.
Take me on that ride with you. I want to be optimistic. That's cool. That stuck out to me because that's, I often am selling people on our district, right? And talking about the good. And it's like the people who are like, it's just good. I want to know.
One of the things that stood out to me was, and I wrote down, was figuring out a system for the community to give feedback. Because that was one of the things I felt like was noticed, like the community was really unsure. Like parents can figure out how to give feedback, staff can figure out how to give feedback, but how does the community at large give feedback?
Right.
Yeah.
And so I thought that was kind of interesting.
I also didn't learn as much as I didn't know I wanted to know this until after we did the survey and I saw the responses, but it made me think about our website and sort of how people are interacting with that and how they're feeling about it. And, sort of that piece and like that information's not here, but it wasn't something I was like harping on in the, as the survey was created. But like our website could be a good tool for that. There could be a tab that's very easily there that says
feedback.
Yeah, we want to hear from you. Comment, it's our suggestion box.
The suggestion box, yes.
Exactly.
Right. So I think that we have the tools for that. But I also am curious.
I think that's what Lindsay said when we were talking about the survey, is put a suggestion box on the website.
Yeah. And I've other districts that have done that, especially through COVID, like you have a question, submit your question here. I know we do have that. I think it either is like a contact us or it says, do you have a question? But sometimes it might be about like prominence or placement and like where some of that is. So actually, not to get too far off track, but I was hoping our next meeting, maybe we could have a website check-in and just talk about progress, what remains to be done, how delegation of some of that work may be going for Karin, and also a while back, Tim Panicucci mentioned, like we should maybe create some kind of survey for people who use it or a test, so where we can get feedback from people who are not biased or haven't had worked on it like us, to see how easily they can get information or how user friendly it is. So if we could just sort of bookmark that for.
So I don't know. I mean, I could say that our website would be loosely tied to this agenda item. And I know that Karin is here if you want her to give a little update.
Well, I don't want to put her, I don't want to put her on the spot. Because I'd like to give it a little time to kind of dig into some aspects, maybe, I don't know.
I find it's funny. One of the things that I find is every time we want to add something, we always want it to be really prominent. So the last time we added something, I'm like, Karen, is it bad if we add another button? Do you know what I mean? Like right on the main page, because that's what you see first. And so it's almost like rotating those a little bit, like K4 registration is a button right now. Hopefully COVID will not have to be a main button at someday.
Seriously.
You know, and just kind of rotating it out like throughout the year, things that are important during that time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. Okay, back to the survey. Sorry, I took us.
No, you're good. One of the things that I'm really excited about is that, so we had this survey go out, and then simultaneously we've got Peggy Black talking to special ed teachers and general ed teachers and administrators. And then you've got Holly with the strategic planning, doing these interviews with like you guys and admin and families. So it feels like we're just going to have like a lot of really good information, because some of that stuff's going to cross over. Do you know what I mean?
And the equity committee sort of is starting with the focus groups just on equity too, which I think will also be more data in that survey that will go out. I think more data, so definitely.
I got to sit in today because we ended up getting, because you had mentioned alumni. So I worked with Nicolay and they got a group of 9th graders to Zoom with Holly to answer. And it was so neat because they would say something and she'd go, oh, I've heard other people say that. Tell me more. So she's like already seeing, do you know what I mean? Some of that cross between different groups. And but that was fun hearing the 9th graders. Lunchroom food was something that we need to improve. And
I mean, it's on the list, but it's on my list. We're like, we need to talk about lunch food, but like amongst the other 100 things that require, important attention. I'm like, how do
I know
it's a lot.
They're 9th graders, so that's important.
Yeah, it's important. Okay, anything, so I guess I think, as long as I look forward to having the debrief with the Donovan group, because I'll be curious to hear sort of some of their clarifications, takeaways, suggestions. And then you and Jenica, I imagine, will take the information from this and that meeting and incorporate that into the communication planning.
Yeah. One of the ones I just wanted to highlight that I was really proud of is that I feel welcome in the Glendale-River Hill School District, and that 100% of the staff said agree or strongly agree. That was pretty amazing. So I was just like, that says a lot about our principals right now, and that they feel, that staff are feeling good. So that was pretty.
Yes. And not to be a downer though, if only 20 people took the survey, that leaves.
No, what are the chances that all 22 are going to say not
it's
one
great.
of them?
I'm sorry. I know it's great, but I have our school board meeting in my head, and I have Carla pointing out that, and rightfully, but that when you have it's just making me think about the information we don't have and the people who didn't respond and why. That's all. That's what's at the forefront of my mind. But it is amazing that it's 100%. That is
Jenica,
great.
did you want to talk at all about the communication plan, or are you just kind of hanging out? I don't want to put you on the spot either.
Yeah, right.
My dogs were just barking like crazy before, so I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna be quiet. No, I look forward to, when they start coming up with some of the goals and action steps that we can take to do that. I mean, they have a lot of the data here. And then I would also like to see, I know this is a draft copy, but I would like to see every comment. So
oh yeah, me too.
We could have access to that. I would like to see all of them.
Yeah.
So that would be a couple of the things that.
Get a big glass of wine and sit down with those comments.
We had
We're recording.
Remember the cheap seats.
Oh.
Yes.
Not
during school hours, of course. This is extracurricular, recreational.
I know.
So
it was good information. I agree with, there's something a little funky with the numbers. I don't know if he meant percents by that. So
yeah,
I'll have to be flushed out.
Yep, I'll follow up on the respondents, because I don't know how there can be 396 and then 21 and 22.
Right.
Yeah, and it's interesting. We got like 600 comments, so people were really sharing a lot. So multiple comments. So I think that's great.
I'll email him that tonight and also ask him about seeing all the comments.
Okay.
Mhm.
I like it. I'm gonna put mute on before they start barking again.
Do you
Okay.
think it would be appropriate to ask him to come to the regular board meeting to share out with?
I'd
the
love,
planning
yeah, I
board?
mean, that would be an opportunity for us to share it with a larger audience and for the whole board to kind of get some of this info. Maybe just let's clarify some of those things we want to know. So going into it.
Yep.
Oh, honey, the boy with my phone has arrived. Here you go. There. Okay. Yes, so that we have that clarifying information for the board before we,
Definitely.
I'd say that'd be good.
That's why we filter it through these, right? So we can
Right.
get all the extra information we need before we bring it to
Mhm.
everybody.
Exactly. Okay.
Cool.
Any other comments on this item?
Mm-mm.
Okay, let's move to Facebook.
Okay, so I don't know if this really had to come to the meeting, but I thought I'd put it on there. Since we're talking about it. So in my next family newsletter, I wanted to try to clarify some of the Facebook stuff because there was a couple weeks ago, there was a situation where somebody posted something on the parent page and then it was taken off. And then I got emails saying, why did you censor me? Why did you take this off? And I was like, that's not my page. Like, I don't run that. So then I thought, well, there are probably a lot of people that just don't know. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like the different pages and who's running them and who's not. So
Yeah.
I thought just to put something in the newsletter for families, just to clarify, like, here are the 3 Facebook pages that are from the district. That would be Glen Hills, Parkway, and the Glendale-River Hills. And we're just posting things like informationally. So we're either sharing good things that are happening in the school, sending out reminders, but it's not like a dialogue. And so that if you have a question, we're going to ask you to actually like reach out to your teacher, reach out to the school, because we're not monitoring those pages to answer questions. And then to let people know that the parent pages, we have nothing to do with. And while it's like, it's a great space if you have a quick question and you can't find something to reach out to other families, but we're not like paying attention to those. So we can't verify that the information you're even getting from other families is accurate. You know what I mean? Like you're hearing it from other families, but like nobody's monitoring at the district to go, oh, wait, that's not right. Or actually it's like this, just so that people know that, like, if they really have like a question that they should reach out. So obviously I think just to differentiate that and to let people know that we don't censor those pages. We don't like determine what's posted or any of that.
Are you aware of who all the administrators are for the parent pages?
I know one of them, but I don't know if I know all of them.
I just wonder if it would be a good touch point to reach out to them before you do that. And just, I don't know if there's, not that you have to share anything on their behalf, but like maybe they want people to know who they are, or maybe they don't. I don't know, but perhaps.
No, I think you're right. Yeah, that other situation.
And just like maybe just touching base to say we're gonna put this out there.
Is there anything you'd like us to add?
Yeah, to harken back to the survey in one of the analysis, there was some a lot of comments about Facebook being a place where information was either preferred or received, right?
Yeah.
So,
no, I think that's a really good point.
I think when you reach out to the administrators, perhaps you could ask them then to say on their page, this is not sponsored by, do they?
No, they say it a lot. Well, they say it a lot in that. Actually, Molly, sorry I shouldn't have interrupted. That's a good point. They possibly could put it front and center somewhere on the page, but I do think they post rules, and they do often have to say this is not a school page. Like,
but what I was saying was, if it's not on, I'm trying to look. If it's not on, it should be right underneath the page in parentheses. This is not a district sponsored Facebook page. And that's my second point is, if our district has the one that we have, that the district like sends out information for, are comments allowed on that one, or are they disabled?
I think so.
So what we can do is let's disable the comments then, because then it's just, and then that one we can say official, this is for information purpose only. If you have a question, contact the administrator.
A lot of districts do disable comments. Ours aren't disabled, but I'm sure that's something we could change.
I think that'd be an easy fix.
And to your point too, Danielle, I think that's a good point, because there have been times I know one administrator.
I know a few of them.
And I've reached out, like if it's something I really like, the survey, for example, You know, and I was like, hey, can you put this on your pages too? Just because it was something I wanted to push out like in any way that I could. So it's and I've seen them have to call people on stuff on their page.
Well, I wonder if
Hey,
they could,
this isn't a district page. You know what I mean?
I wonder if they could do what you're asking them to do by sharing our page as opposed to posting it separately to even,
I
again,
think that's
make
what
it a
they
little,
typically do.
make it a little clearer.
Yeah, I think
but-
that's what they typically do.
I
I'm
think
looking at
looking
the,
at-
I'm looking at the Glen Hills parents page, and just on my phone, there are 4 rules, and then I have to click on show all rules. So nowhere does it say this is not a school sponsored page.
Okay.
I think that they would do us all a very big favor if they
Yeah.
had that like
Yeah.
somewhere in front and center.
So the touching base with them would make sense to make some of these changes really simple, easy
And it might help,
changes.
I'm assuming it would help them too.
before
If
you
they
put
had
out.
that on there, because then people wouldn't be going there for different, you know what I mean? For
Well,
reasons.
people are gonna go there for their,
Well, to
but
come.
yes, but that's at their own, yeah, their own
Right.
risk. Yes, agreed.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
I actually think, is Andy a moderator on one of those pages?
He might.
You know, those pages are so crazy. Like once one is an administrator, they can add someone else. Like the Nicolay parents page, there are all these rando people that are administrators. So it could be like a spider web of people that can approve people coming on and all
Mhm.
sorts of things.
Yeah, it would be interesting to just have that information to,
Yeah.
I know a few, but I don't know, maybe there are multiple. And
Mhm.
either way, these are all great ideas. I think, yeah, my suggestion would just be, let's iron that stuff out, if you can, before you send out the communication or shortly
Yeah.
after, so that.
Absolutely, I can. And basically, I just don't want people on there getting frustrated, because I've seen sometimes somebody go like, hey, how do I contact the bus company? Can a principal from the school answer this? You know what I mean? Or they'll like tag like school staff
Yeah.
and stuff. And it's like, we just
Well-
don't want to get muddied into that stuff. So I don't want people to feel frustrated, like no one's responding to me, when
Mhm.
sometimes we just don't look at those. You know what I mean?
And historically, some administrators did respond. So I think it's good to just clarify
Yeah,
clarify that now going forward.
agree.
Good idea.
On a fun Facebook note, I live streamed the spelling bee. That was kind of fun. It was my first chance to live stream something on Facebook live.
I missed the spelling bee, and spelling bees make me so happy.
The recording
was-
is on the Facebook page because I
Ah.
saved it.
There we go.
Oh, it's on the, okay, well,
Yeah. But it was kind of neat. I got a couple more people to like follow the page.
like,
and there
was
were
that on our
families at
website?
home.
That should have been like a front and center, like spelling bee for this nerd, but it's okay. I won't miss the next one.
What, you know what? It was kind of intense and exciting. Like I was totally into it. It was good.
Yeah.
It was good.
There's,
Yeah.
oh, okay, all right.
So yeah, I know one for sure that monitors both pages, so I'll start by
Yes.
emailing her.
Right.
Yeah.
Lindsay, right?
Yeah.
She's really great at shutting down that stuff and making it known that it's our,
Well,
but-
there was the one, when the parent reached out and said, why did you take this off? And I was like, I hadn't seen it. So I was like, I don't know what you're talking
Mhm.
about,
Yeah.
because she had taken it off, I was like, oh, so yeah.
yeah. All right, okay. Anything else on Facebook?
Nope.
Okay, and I will move to 3A to visitor participation, and I think is Lindsay Johnson, or maybe Lindsay Rockmore. I'll give a minute, or not a minute. If anybody wants to participate, please raise your hand. And I don't see any. So I guess can I just bookmark the thing about talking about the website at our next
Yep. I wrote it down.
communication? Yeah, okay, all right, good. That was it. Okay, then I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
I'll second. All in favor, voice vote.
Aye.
All right, the meeting is adjourned.
Okay.
Everybody enjoy your night.
You
Thank
too.
you. You too.
All right, bye.
See you. Bye, everybody.